Long before borders were drawn or empires rose, a single climbing vine grew wild in the rain-drenched hills of the Malabar Coast, along the southwestern edge of India. Its small green berries, dried until black and wrinkled, would become one of the most sought-after substances on Earth. We call it black pepper, and for thousands of years it has quietly shaped the course of human history. The plant itself is unassuming. Piper nigrum is a perennial woody vine that twists upward around trees and poles, climbing as high as 13 feet. It thrives only in the hot, humid tropics, where rainfall is heavy and the soil drains freely. From tiny white flowers come clusters of berries called peppercorns. To make the familiar black pepper, the berries are picked while still green and unripe, then boiled briefly and left to dry in the sun for several days. As they shrivel, their skins darken into the wrinkled black we recognize. The same berry, handled differently, yields green, white, and red pepper, but it is the black form that conquered the world. Cultivation demands patience. A pepper vine may take 3 or 4 years before it bears its first real harvest, and a mature plant can keep producing for decades. Farmers train the vines on living trees or wooden supports, harvesting by hand as the berries ripen unevenly along each spike. It is slow, careful labor, often done by families who have grown pepper for generations. For most of history, nearly all of it came from India, and that near monopoly gave the spice extraordinary power. The ancient world craved it. In Rome, pepper was a luxury worth its weight in silver, stored in treasuries and used to flavor the tables of the wealthy. Traders carried it across the Arabian Sea and overland through deserts, and the routes that moved it became some of the first great arteries of global commerce. When the Visigoths besieged Rome in the year 410, the ransom they demanded included 3,000 pounds of pepper. Few foods have ever been valued so highly. Through the Middle Ages, pepper remained a symbol of wealth and status across Europe. It passed through countless hands, from Indian growers to Arab and Venetian middlemen, each adding their price, until the spice reaching a European market cost a fortune. Rents and taxes were sometimes paid in peppercorns, and the phrase peppercorn rent survives in English to this day. This hunger for spice drove Europe's rulers to seek a way around the merchants who controlled the trade. That search remade the world. When Vasco da Gama sailed around Africa and reached the Malabar Coast in 1498, he opened a direct sea route between Europe and the source of pepper. Christopher Columbus had sailed west 6 years earlier chasing the same dream, and stumbled instead upon the Americas. The age of exploration, with all its discovery and all its violence, was driven in no small part by this single spice. Portuguese, Dutch, and English fleets fought for control of the pepper trade, and great companies rose and fell on its profits. Pepper helped build empires and, in time, helped tear them apart. Today, the spice that once steered nations has become an everyday staple, sitting in shakers on tables around the globe. Black pepper is now the most widely traded spice in the world. Vietnam has emerged as the largest producer, growing more than a third of the global supply, while India, Indonesia, Brazil, and Sri Lanka contribute much of the rest. Each year, the world harvests hundreds of thousands of tons of peppercorns, a quantity unimaginable to the Roman merchants who once measured it against silver. And yet, the plant itself has not changed. The same kind of vine that grew wild on the Malabar Coast still climbs its poles under the tropical sun, still offering up its small green berries to be dried into black. What was once a treasure guarded by kings now costs a few coins, but its story remains written into the map of the modern world. The borders we cross, the languages we speak, the very shape of global trade, all bear the faint imprint of a humble climbing vine and the berries that humankind could not live without.